Maxine Caulfield, better known as Max, is the main protagonist of Life is Strange and was born in September the 21st, 1995. She is then 18 years old and an aspiring photographer and senior at Blackwell Academy. She lives in Seattle, where she left her mom and dad and now moved to Arcadia Bay, where she grew up. There she discovered that she has the ability to rewind time and even stop it, when Chloe Price gets killed by Nathan Prescott in one of Blackwell Academy bathrooms. As this wasn't enough, Max must discover not only how to use her powers but also search for clues to solve the mysterious disappearance of Rachel Amber and save the town from a tornado. With its Latin origin, the name Maxine means the greatest, and it's a very noble, strong and feminine name, although she prefers the shortened form of her name, which is more gender ambiguous and simple, as she doesn't identify with the meaning of this name since she doesn't consider herself something special or unique, and she doesn't set great value upon femininity, which is expressed both in her style and attitude. Okay, she doesn't feel special, but man, she has the ability to rewind time, and the name Maxine also implies a special power or fate for its owner, and so refers to Max's time-controlling powers and the great things she is able to do and undo with them. So from this we can already tell that she is meant to do big things. Her regular outfit consists of blue jeans, black and white shoes and a grey hoodie. She wears several different t-shirts, usually with a dough in it. Max is geeky, quite introverted and slightly self-conscious, particularly when it comes to her photography. According to herself, she rather likes to observe the world around her than actually participate in, which is more of the personality of an introvert, and that's why several students think she wouldn't really care for others. Well, we know her more than anyone, so they are wrong. On the contrary, she makes a genuine effort to show kindness to all of Blackwell students. She's clear, deductive thinker, smart and sneaky, but practical, reasonable and mature for her age, especially compared to her best friend Chloe. Max is also brave, placing herself in harm's way to protect those she cares about. She loves photography, always taking pictures of her surroundings since she considers it a way to be part of the world at a safe distance, as she says on her autobiography, and aspires to make it a career one day. She is especially fond for old analog cameras and instant camera selfies. Much like Warren, she also seems to like obscure movies and anime. She's always dreams of traveling and exploring the world, as well as going on adventures together with Chloe. As the adventure of the game unfolds, Max becomes more and more confident and decisive, also due to Chloe's influence combined with her newfound time-altering powers. Right from the beginning, Max feels deeply responsible for her actions and does not take her rewind power lightly, but perhaps doesn't realize the full consequences of her power yet. On the other hand, at the end, Max appears deeply troubled with the consequences of her decisions and the responsibility she has to bear as represented in her nightmare. Although she is more of an introvert, some people regard her as nosy. There are several instances throughout the game where Max is called that, and including herself admitting to be nosy. Well, it's obvious that Max is pretty interested in other people's stuff, but it's up to the player how far her curiosity goes. She also refers to herself as being clumsy after breaking and spilling a number of items and having to rewind time. When Max was 13, she was with Chloe at her house when her father William tragically died in a car crash. Although Max was supportive at the time, she had to move to Seattle with her parents the same year, leaving her best friend and her whole life behind. 5 years has passed and then Max is accepted into Blackwell Academy and moves back to Arcadia Bay, mostly due to her admiration for the work of her famous new teacher, Mark Jefferson. On her family sides, it's clear that both her parents care a lot about her due to her separate birthday texts and her mother's encouraging texts at the various points in each episode. She also speaks fondly of her dad, talking about them going to hockey games together, supporting the Seattle Thunderbirds. Max dreams of becoming a photographer since being a child. She even has a vintage camera website pulled up on her laptop in episode 1. Max also reveals that she had two friends back in Seattle named Kristen and Fernando, although not much is known about them other than they were drunk at the Fremont trial. Poor friends, they are only remembered as drunks. Max is full of talents, as she also plays guitar, as evident from the butterfly-covered instrument in her room and the player's ability to get her to play it. Rewind. Although limited in how far back she can go by holding out her right hand, Max can reverse time in short lapses. This ability allows her to teleport as she does not return to the same position as she originally was in the time she rewinds to. However, this was shown to take a toll on Max's body in the form of headaches or nosebleed, which is caused by either overuse or an attempt to rewind too far. As a curiosity, the sounds Max hears while rewinding are reversed future and past dialogue pieces and other environmental sounds all at once. Pretty cool, Max. Time Jump. This ability is like an improvement to her rewind powers, as this requires a lot more energy as she is able to jump back in time into a specific situation. The first and only time she time jumps is when she discovers a rewind in the Blackwell bathroom during the attempt of saving Chloe, and then suddenly finds herself back in the classroom. Precognition. Max is able to see visions of and experience future events, as she can foresee the tornado destroying Arcadia Bay, although it's possible that those aren't just visions but rather time jumps. Stop. Max can manipulate time in all ways, like a time Photoshop human software, as she can also freeze time while also being able to move. Though she cannot move any living objects such as humans and birds, she can open doors, so literally nothing can stop her. Max discovered these powers during her attempt to save Kate from committing suicide, but the amount of concentration it proved extremely rash to her body, as she was too weak to rewind after she made it to the roof. Focus. This one blew my mind when Max discovered it. She can go back to the time period when the photo was taken in order to change the past. However, and I find this very interesting, she can't go past the photography bounce of the background while the ability is in use. This ability also appears to be limited to photographs in which Max herself is present, whether as the photographer or the subject. It's Max but with limits, no pun intended. Max is heavily associated with the doe. The doe spirit animal image follows and guides her to the lighthouse and is prominent in her visions. Max has a conversation with Samuel about spirit animals, in which he confirms that she's right about the doe being her spiritual guide. It would make sense that the doe will lead her to safety as well as guide her to Rachel's body. The color blue appears all the way through the game. It is associated with hopefulness for the future as well as vulnerability. The colors black and white are heavily associated with deaths in the game. In the fourth episode, Max wears a black shirt for the first time, which is usually symbolic of the many deaths in the episode. The dream catcher that Max wears in episode 5 in the reality where she won the Everyday Heroes contest represents becoming an artist and her artwork being displayed in a gallery being her biggest dream and passion. The dream catcher is supposed to be able to trap bad dreams in its web. Only good dreams are allowed to filter through a small opening in the center of the circle. Like Max is able to forget all the bad experiences she went through for a few moments in that reality. Everything seems quite perfect in that scene, all that horror she went through far away. It's unclear whether Max changes reality or created new timelines that run and exist parallel to each other for each time she rewinds and alters the past. If the second was confirmed, the end will not boil down to save the city or save Chloe, but Max will only decide which reality she preferred to live in. In other words, even if Max sacrificed Chloe, the tornado would still be going on, but on another reality that she left behind. It is implied that Max is of Irish descent. Her last name is of Irish origin. The name of her father, Ryan, is a typical Irish first name. Chloe also mentions her Irish luck in Out of Time. Lastly, pale skins and freckles are characteristic Irish traits. Max's camera is based on the Polaroid Job Pro and most of her other models of the 600 Polaroid camera line. The camera Chloe gave her is based from the Polaroid Image/Spectra line of Polaroid cameras. Max clearly plays the MMO World of Warcraft. Heading to her nerdy status over the phone, Max advises Warren to bubble heart, a term which refers to a paladin shielding themselves before using their heartstone to teleport to safety. Max also texts him back with kek, meaning lol in Orcish. Max and Chloe's favorite childhood series include SpongeBob, Power Rangers, Blue's Clues, and Teletubbies. According to episode 1, Max's least favorite food is caviar and Max has a clear distaste for alcohol. It is implied that Max may possess some sort of developmental disability, such as high-functioning autism, Asperger's syndrome, dyscalculia or ADHD, as she is in an individualized education program, a program usually reserved for students with said condition according to her student file. It is also possible that Max suffers from some sort of social-emotional disorder like social anxiety. It's also implied that Max may have suffered from depression or anxiety since she seems to immediately recognize the antidepressants you can find in Chloe's bedroom. It's even possible that Max is still taking some kind of medication indicated by Victoria's comment in episode 1. Well guys, Max is a virgin judging from her shy and innocent appearance. Her comments about not having been able to find a groove with guys, or that she always liked skater boys but they didn't like her, as well as the fact that she asks Chloe what that first magical kiss feels like in episode 3, which implies that she never kissed before. Max is seemingly pan or bisexual, being attracted to Chloe independently of the player's choices. She can kiss Warren as well, but she never stated that she's attracted to him. Kissing both Chloe and Warren are possible choices for Max. Max will ask herself if her feelings towards Chloe are more romantic or platonic, which shows that she considers both as possible. It also shows that she probably hasn't directly considered being in a relationship with a woman until now, but that on the other hand, gender might not really something that matters for her, as she is never questioning if it could be possible to be in love with Chloe as a woman, but how far her feelings really go. Her romantic feelings for Chloe always seem natural, which implies that she's bisexual independently of the player's choices during the game. Max thinks that Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within is one of the best science fiction movies ever made. She says it while looking at the plasma TV in Victoria's room in episode 1. In the diner sequence of Mass's Nightmare in episode 5, Max has to enter a code to exit the diner bathroom. If you enter the incorrect code 50 times, she will break the fourth wall and say,
"I'm going to make the designers pay for all these bullshit code puzzles."